Scrub Mode. My name's Julio. I'm joined by my buddy John.
Hello, it's me. We're recording here on the anniversary of the Kenneth Arnold UFO sighting.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
That's cool.
June 24th, 1947, in my neck of the woods, some guy saw some batwing-shaped crafts, and he was like, they be skipping like saucers. And the press was like, that's too hard. They're flying saucers. That's where we get the term flying saucer. Here we are.
Flying saucers. Oh, man, that's crazy.
80 years later? That's wild.
That's wild, yeah. Welcome to Scrub Mode, the podcast that sits at the intersection of gaming and monsters. We talk video games, we talk board games, we talk monsters, we talk cryptids, we talk all kinds of stuff. But,
we're having a chill episode today because the Mothman script is making me go a little crazy, and also we want to save that. And it's looking like it might be a 3-parter now for episode 100.
Yeah, we're going on our 100th episode now, which is kind of crazy. I guess I kind of want this to be a little bit of a what do they call it when you look back on things?
A review.
I guess it's kind of. But I've had a lot of fun doing this podcast, and I want to keep doing it. But
let's go through. Let's say I wish I had this information to start with so we can compare and contrast. But now that I've talked your ear off about the dumbest shit possible, what is your favorite cryptid?
My favorite cryptid, probably Bigfoot, honestly.
Was it always Bigfoot?
I think it was always Bigfoot.
Okay, so you remain unchanged.
Yeah. I think Bigfoot is just, one of those things that's like gonna be around forever, It's like it's like Mickey Mouse almost of cryptids.
Yeah, I think you're right. Like I sort of I've made this point in the Mothman script, but maybe we'll just talk about it now. But like Bigfoot is the top of the cryptid tier list, right? He's the top of the cryptid pyramid.
Yeah.
Like people were really into Nessie. I think Nessie is washed.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten a good Nessie sighting in years.
Yeah.
Nessie's been pretty thoroughly debunked. Like, the problem with living in a lake is you could just send a bunch of boats shoulder to shoulder and scan the entire lake for shit. When you do that a few times and you find nothing.
Yeah.
What?
It's tough.
Nessie's washed. Nessie used to be up there with Bigfoot. I think Nessie is washed.
Yeah.
Chupacabra, king of the 90s, was everywhere. And then good Chupacabra sightings faded. Chupacabra kind of debunked, and now all our Chupacabras are just dogs with mange.
Chupacabra.
Chupacabra, that's the Italian version. But yeah.
Oh,
Here, okay. Maybe this is our for our first part of our look ahead. We can't tier everything we've done.
No.
But maybe if we're saying Bigfoot is S tier, nothing's coming close to Bigfoot. What do you think is the A tier?
A tier? Probably Chupacabra, I think.
Okay.
I think Chupacabra, Loch Ness Monster, probably C tier or B tier.
Wow, that's a big fall off. Yeah.
Maybe B tier at tops, low B tier, high C maybe. I don't know.
I think
are aliens cryptids technically?
So here I guess this is part of an interesting discussion we can have. So there are two thoughts on cryptids, right? There's the very scientific, trying to be as real as possible area where it's like, no, these are mystery animals. These are animals we haven't found. They're not magical. They're not mystical. They're not supernatural. They're just weird animals. And by that definition, even if aliens exist, they're not cryptids because they're not animals. They're from a completely different type of life, right?
I guess that's true. Yeah. That makes me think of things on a biological scale. If I remember seeing that one documentary about aliens on Discovery Channel, I think it was. Oh,
I think you're preaching to the choir. Yeah,
and they were talking about what if aliens were real, what would they be like? What if they shared DNA with us? What if our DNA
that's something
came
I
from
haven't.
space?
I thought you were going to talk about the one from the future's Wild People about an alien planet.
No, I don't think it was that, but I remember watching this one documentary. I forget the name of it, but it was like if aliens existed and they came into contact with us, what way would they do that, and what would their motives be? And the way they had it was like there was this giant ship in the sky that just appears one day, and these tiny little like pine cone sized balls drop from it and sprinkle all over Earth, and they kind of spray their DNA all over the planet.
What the fuck? I've never seen this before or even heard of
I forget
this.
what it's called, but yeah, there was the idea that aliens evolved in a way that their one motivation, or I guess the one way that they go around the universe is they kind of just spread their DNA across the universe, and they kind of they're not malicious or anything. They're just kind of a force of nature, I guess.
Yeah, you're. I think that's loosely collected or connected to the panspermia theory, which is the idea that where did life on Earth come from? Aliens.
Yeah. And the one theory is that like if we find alien DNA one day, and we look at it, and if it looks anything like the DNA that's here on Earth, is that damning evidence that life on Earth came from space? You
I
know?
mean, yeah, I guess that's the question.
Yeah. Makes
I
you
was
think.
talking about Alien Planet, where it's like a fake documentary on like a different planet where they had like paleontologist Jack Horner and Stephen Hawking as like talking heads, and also
Yeah.
George Lucas. I'm seeing as I look it up.
I'm sure that's helpful.
Yeah, George Lucas in 2005. I don't think was in a great place.
Yeah. Oh man. But yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, I would going back half a step. I'd say the other cryptid theory is that like what it is now. We're gonna sort of get into this with Mothman, but like it's the idea that any old monster, like cryptid's another word for monster in the modern parlance, so it doesn't differentiate between folklore or aliens, just any weird guy out there in the woods.
Yeah.
So, depending on how you want to define it, I personally don't think so, but you could say aliens are cryptids.
I see. I don't think they are either. I think they're kind of something different.
Yeah.
They kind of deserve to be their own category because they come from space.
Maybe I'm an idiot, but as somebody who's like, I want cryptozoology to kind of like, I want it to be realistic. I'm tired of all these people doing fake ass shit.
Yeah.
I want it to be held to a higher standard. I'm like, you can't really say aliens are cryptids. It's an entirely different field.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm the dumbass who knows. And I say that as somebody who thinks that Mothman is definitely not a biological animal, but would still put him at an A tier cryptid because like I think he's like the after Bigfoot, I think he's the cryptid right now. You know what I mean?
Right. Did you see the Mothman prophecies?
I did. I like it actually. I think it's pretty good.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it all the way through anyway. I don't know. Maybe I should watch it.
It's a really weird movie.
Yeah, it is.
And it feels like something that nobody would make today because the conclusion's pretty weird and you never actually see Mothman except for maybe very briefly a couple of times. But this is sometimes bandied about as like a defense for Lovecraft stories where like, well, the stories aren't scary, but the vibes are,
Yeah.
The vibes are very good. And I feel like it's the same way for Mothman prophecies where it's like, well, like I don't think you're going to be scared that Mothman's out your window or it's going to give you nightmares, but the vibes are really unsettling and good.
You know, it gave me nightmares.
Oh man, should we talk about nightmares?
We can.
Is that good podcasting?
I don't know. One thing that gave me a weird vibe was the story of Terrare.
Oh yes, you should recap that for our listeners.
Terrare, I don't know how true this story is, but it was a documented case, right, of a man who had an insatiable hunger.
Yeah. And
he would eat things in like a sideshow fashion. He would eat like small animals and live animals too. He would he ate like a puppy one time. And he got in trouble for eating a baby one time.
And like one of my favorite facts is like Napoleon was like, this guy is going to be a perfect spy. We can just feed him secret messages. And then I think the English were immediately like, who's this fucking freak? No, you're not passing our lines.
Yeah.
Because he was like wide-mouthed like a frog almost. I'm not sure how much of that is overhyped or stuff like that. But
yeah, who knows? But he was real, right? It was like there was.
Yeah, he's real as far as we can tell.
Wow. That gave
Like,
me weird vibes. That whole like if you
yeah.
want to be disturbed. What was the name of the channel again? I forgot. You showed me Terraria.
That I don't know.
I look up Terraria, it auto corrects to terrarium. Oh yeah, Tarare, Tarrare, The Hungriest Man in History by Salmonella
Oh yeah,
Academy.
Salmonella is a little edgy but pretty good.
Yeah.
He's been gone for years. He popped in to make one enjoyable video about who was it? Some old timey historian, the kinds we often cite, who are like,
Yeah.
the dog man is native to this area outside of Greece. They love oil and India.
Yeah.
Like one of those guys. That's, I don't know. It's funny because they were wrong a lot.
I remember I told the story of Terraria to my one friend. He's like, "This guy's probably possessed by like some kind of hunger demon or something."
Yeah, if we lived in a Trench Crusade universe, I'd be like, so that was a monster, right?
Yeah.
That was a demon flying a little too close to the sun, huh?
Yeah, totally. Oh man, but yeah.
So you had nightmares or just like
just weird
bad
dreams,
vibes?
bad vibes off of that story.
It's a
Very
spooky
disturbing,
story.
very disturbing. But yeah, I liked that video. I don't know why.
Yeah, I like Salmonella.
Yeah.
If he does anything that gets him canceled, then I'm sorry.
Oh,
Let's see. I saw Mars Attacks when it first came out. So I would have been, I don't know if I want to give my age away. I would have been a small child.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the Mars Attacks, the comedy, gave me even though I loved the toys, gave me terrible nightmares. Specifically, the scene where the Martian was pretending to be a hot human lady and like seducing the president or the president's aide or whatever. It just like the idea that you had a monster pretending to be a human for some reason gave me a lot of nightmares.
That was a great movie. Jack Black's in that movie, funny enough.
Yeah, Jack Black's in that. Like, it's got an amazing cast.
Yeah.
Our buddy Danny's in that movie. Danny DeVito.
Yeah, Dan DeVito's in it. Oh man, that movie's funny.
Yeah. I don't think it's the best Tim Burton movie, but
it's not.
I'm not a huge Tim Burton fan either, but
yeah,
you know, it's hard to deny.
He's pretty
the greatness of like Edward Scissorhands. Get me out! I've earned my white monster.
Yeah,
give me my goth gold star.
For real. We've all been to a Hot Topic when we were like a young teenager.
The Hot Topic story is like, we can't get off on this too much, but the Hot Topic story is pretty interesting.
It is.
Where they were like, well, what if we just let kids who are hand making all this stuff, this goth and punk stuff, what if we just sold it to them because nobody else is doing that?
Yeah.
People were like, I don't know, won't they just keep hand making it? And the answer was no.
No.
If you can buy stuff or be a mall goth, it makes it way easier.
Yeah, for real.
And then they like pivoted, as everything did now, to like, what if we did weird shirts and Funko Pops back when nobody else was selling them? And that's how they like, you know, by making Invader Zim shirts when nobody else would, that's how they like got a competitive edge.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're getting dangerously close to Uncle Corner, but like I sort of miss the old Hot Topics.
Yeah, me too.
They ain't like they were, you know. There's way more like
music.
They've been stuff. Funko-ified too. Like, never that they were obviously they were always corporate. They were never an authentic expression of like the punk or goth or any other movement.
I remember this one song. Hot Topic is not punk rock. I forget.
It is.
Yeah.
It is not punk rock. It is a corporation, and thus by definition is not punk rock.
Yeah, by definition it can't be. But yeah.
Aside from Terraria, I guess if this is too personal, we can back off. What is the first nightmare you remember?
First nightmare I remember. I was very young when I had this dream. It stuck with me. But I had a dream. My house had a hallway with with all the bedrooms and the bathroom and all that, and that would lead out to the living room, and I had a dream that the hallway was like longer than it should be, and it would like
Interesting.
it went on, and I would like run down the hallway, and monsters would reach out of the doors at me.
Very, very Scooby-Doo. Very
Yeah.
Goosebumps.
Yeah. And then I'd run out into the living room, and there was like an albino man wearing a black leather jacket sitting on my
Ooh.
couch watching TV, and the TV was just static.
I mean, that sounds like some pretty classic horror to me.
It must have been influenced by Max Headroom somehow.
Interesting. Where
Because
do you think you picked up
Max Headroom. It was like Max Headroom watch. Because like I was my MTV was coming out when we were like kids, right?
I guess so, but like my parents weren't really watching MTV. Were yours?
I guess they must have had it on or something.
Yeah, you must have picked it up from somewhere.
Yeah, it was like Max Headroom sitting in my living room watching TV, but the TV was just static. And yeah, it was weird. It was a weird dream.
My dream also involves reaching monsters, and that like my earliest nightmare I can remember is being in a museum alone. And like specifically there was this painting of a cat in like that Klasky Supo like Rugrats style, where it was like a gray cat, like an anthropomorphic cat in a like purple suit and orange shirt and green tie. So I guess like Joker in a Joker suit.
I see.
And just like him reaching out of his painting when I got there, and just like me running for help through the museum, and then all the classic nightmare shit of like, oh no, my ankles don't work, or like falling down the stairs and being unable to get up before he got to me and killed me. Where did I pick that shit up? I don't know.
It's weird. Dreams are weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think people put too much weight in dreams sometimes because it's just stuff in your head, right?
Yeah, I mean, like I don't want to say anything incorrect. I think we don't super know what dreams are. I think our best idea is just that it's our brains are weird meat tubes, and we're just processing all our shit, you know?
Yeah.
And we do dream every night, but we don't remember it. I think that's true.
It might be true.
Um,
Because I know REM sleep is the sleep where you have dreams, right?
Yeah, the rapid eye movement REM sleep. I believe that's correct. We're not sleep experts, and we haven't researched for this episode, so
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't think dreams are that important.
Yeah, I'm with you. Where I'm like I've tried to do like magical practice where I was like, all right, I'm gonna put a lot of emphasis on my dreams, and like the more I paid attention to my dreams, the less interesting or exciting they got. You know what I mean?
Lucid dreaming is also kind of a fun thing to try and do, but
I went through a little lucid dreaming phase, and it's sort of like I got there, and at the end of the day, I was like, this is not all that different from just imagining myself doing something. It's a lot of work for like one baby step in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you try lucid dreaming ever? Did you?
Yeah, I've tried lucid dreaming. I got the hang of it for a little bit too.
Yeah, same. What was your?
I would fly. That was the one thing
same.
I would do.
I guess that's what everyone wants to do, right?
Yeah. Either that or have sex.
Yeah, like we don't need to get into like tulpa terror. We've all seen the posts on the X, the image board, not the Twitter replacement, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, the internet's weird, man.
Yeah, it really is. You ever see a movie called Waking Life?
Yes, I actually have it on DVD.
Oh, you do? No way.
Yeah, I used to love that movie.
I watched it. It was a formative movie for me. I watched it on HBO back when it was on HBO.
Yeah. From it's how do we describe it? It's essentially a rotoscoped movie where they took a bunch of actors and talking heads, and had them do rants. Some of them are scripted, some of them I think were parts of larger lectures, and sort of strung it all together into a movie.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, one of those talking heads is Alex Jones.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. I think I know which one you're talking about too.
Yeah, it's very clearly Alex Jones too, because he's red and he's in jail and he's yelling about something.
Yeah.
It's a great film.
It's a good movie. Yeah, I like that movie. It was very
a shame that Alex Jones is in it, but at that time he was just
He was just a guy. He wasn't
it's hard to describe this, and I have to be clear. I'm in no way defending Alex Jones. He sucks.
yeah.
He sucks, and he can wash my dick and balls. He's a blight. He's you know,
yeah. Yeah.
how do I say this? But at that time, he was like a local Austin weirdo who was on local access TV.
Hmm.
So he even at this time, he's not a good guy. He's he was still
Kind
like
of
a John
spewing.
Birch Society weirdo and stuff like
Yeah.
that. But he was a little more.
He was
He
contained.
was a local weirdo. He was local color. People didn't know.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
I have just doing the quick googly moogly down here. Here's a quote from the director who's like, in an interview with IndieWire, Linklater states, "I thought he being Alex Jones was just kind of funny." And then he goes on to note that he never imagined that Alex Jones would one day be taken seriously.
Yeah.
So he was just like, at the time, he's like, I didn't think much of just including a local weirdo.
Yeah.
It's cool. Things are good.
Yeah, I forgot Alex Jones is in that because it doesn't look like Alex Jones. It's just
It looks like Alex Jones, but this is what 2001.
Yeah,
the film came out January of 2001, which means it was probably shot in 1990 or 2000, depending on how fast the rotoscoping was. Because the whole thing's rotoscoped, so
yeah,
this is, I think, before you could do that with a filter, that might have had to be done by hand.
For real, yeah. Waking Life is good. It reminds me a lot of another movie called Scanner Darkly.
Yeah, it's the same guy.
Same guy? It's the same dude?
Guy. Also Linklater, and also using the same animators to do rotoscope.
That's cool. I feel like they nailed it more with Scanner Darkly.
Yeah, well, I think Scanner Darkly like 2006, so I think they had 5 more years to practice.
Yeah, and Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, who's a great cat. Yeah. Have you ever read the original Scanner Darkly?
No.
Me neither, but it's supposed to be really good.
It's a book, right? It's started as a book.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a Philip K. Dick book. We may have to do an episode on Philip K. Dick one day. I've never read any of his stuff.
I'd like that.
But at one point, this is actually going to tie into Mothman, weirdly, because we're going to talk about ultra-terrestrials. But at one point, he thought, just like, we'll go into it more, but do you know what I mean when I say ultra-terrestrial?
Ultra-terrestrial.
No. Yeah, so this warning, this is good to listeners, this is another one of those things that is going to make you either extremely fun at a late night kind of party when everyone's getting tired and their minds are weird, or it's going to make you stupider. But this is this idea initially sort of forwarded by John Keel, who's the author of the Mothman Prophecies, that like there are cryptids and aliens and stuff like that. These are not, monsters or beings from another planet. These are beings from Earth, but they are from like a higher dimension, or they're from they're unstuck in time some way. So they're from here, but they're like not from here.
They're from like a different dimension, a different plane of reality.
Yeah, or they're in our like a different wavelength, so they can like. We talk about this, but we'll talk about this more in the Mothman episode. But he talks about like. And I think this is actually in the movie, not the book, but they talk about how, if a window washer tells you that there's a car crash ahead, let's use something else. If a window washer tells you that there's a school bus coming, and then the school bus comes, you're not like, he had knowledge of the future. You're like, well, he was up way high on a building, so he could see. And that's kind of what he's going about with ultra-terrestrials. It's not like they don't have knowledge of the future. They're not from a future or a different dimension. They're just from here, but they have a different perspective.
I see.
It doesn't make a lot of sense unless you're like already in your like magic brained or high or something like that.
I see. I kind of get it. Yeah, it's like, yeah. I don't know. I remember one video I saw of like someone trying to explain shadow people as like as kind of like that, like they're like how a like a two-dimensional a two-dimensional expression of a three-dimensional object is just shadow of that object.
Okay.
So like a shadow person is kind of like a shadow of a fourth dimensional entity. So
I
like,
can kind of like. I don't think that's true, but as like the horror, my horror author brain likes that.
yeah, or it's like a 3D like shadow type, basically.
Yeah, I've never been able to find the clip, and at this point, I think I might have made it up. But one of the scariest ghost hunting videos I've ever seen
Mm-hmm.
is some people. I think they're at. Oh shoot! I'm gonna have to Google it.
Okay.
Insane Asylum, Kentucky Ghosts, Waverly Hills Sanatorium. People are at Waverly Hills Sanatorium, which is a famous haunted site, and they have a laser pen, and
Mm-hmm.
the laser pen shines on a shadow person, and it stops. And the shadow person's like standing in the middle of the hallway, which implies
Hmm.
either that is fakery and it's just a person, or to my at that time spook-addled brain, there's some sort of three-dimensional substance to the shadow person, unlike a ghost.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. It's one of those Lovecraft things where it's like, if you dwell on it the wrong way, it gets really weird. We're like, what is solid shadow substance stuff? Like, that means these things are different from ghosts. Maybe they're fourth dimensional entities. Where it's like, or it's just like a dude that they didn't realize was there that they hit briefly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Philip K. Dick.
Mm-hmm.
I should look this up before I give the wrong version of it. But he thought that he got shot by an alien intelligence called Valis, and it warned him about like a medical issue with his son.
Hmm.
And it turned out to be right, and then like he would have more contact with Valis, but like I'm doing a horrible job of explaining this. It sounds very similar to the Mothman in a lot of ways, because it is a or other entities in the story sort of like entered cold that are warning people about stuff that are coming, and sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong, and you never know when they're fucking with you and when they're trying to be helpful.
See, spooky stuff.
Yeah. If you believe it, worth noting that, uh, you know, he also had like auditory hallucinations and schizophrenia.
I
So
see.
like,
So that kind of
there's a more prosaic explanation, but
right, right. It's spooky if you think about it.
it's spooky if you think about it from the
Yeah.
right
Perspective
angle, but
angle.
also it's pretty easy to just be like, well, yeah, but what if we made it up?
Right.
Anyway, it's gonna be weird. My plan for the Mothman series is like, first episode we're gonna just do the Mothman.
Okay.
Second episode we're gonna do the other weird shit that happened at the time of the Mothman.
Mm-hmm.
Of which there's a lot of like Men in Black stories and stuff like that, and UFOs. And then the third one is if there is a third one, maybe we'll get it done in the second one. We'll go off the rails and we'll just talk about like, there's this whole thing, just like Valis, where allegedly one of these alien entities was talking to John Keel through his phone lines and telling him predictions that were close to right, but never actually right.
I see.
It's going to be fun.
That sounds fun.
Where else can we take this that's not insane? How about, we've talked about monsters. Let's talk about the other half now that we're almost at the halfway mark. Let's talk about gaming. What are you playing lately? What are you looking forward to?
Magic the Gathering Arena, I guess.
Yeah.
Other than For Honor, really. It's fun. I hope they add more cards. I hope they bring Warhammer in. That'd be cool.
I know there was a Warhammer,
There's a bunch of Warhammer cards, yeah.
But I really wanted to play that Tyranid deck.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I want to play a mutant deck with Gershon Skarn, I think he's called. Kellermorph.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
He's like a leader of the Mutant Rebellion or something.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got 3 arms.
The Gene Stealer cult hero.
Yeah, he's got yeah.
Now, one of the coolest. Let me see if I can find the sculpt for you. But like, one of the coolest models I think Games Workshop has ever put out. Just like a 3-armed mutant cowboy with 3 guns.
I've seen him.
Oops. Yeah. Wrong Discord.
I don't think I've seen the miniature.
Here, let me float it to you right there.
Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, I've seen that figure. It looks freaking sick.
Yeah, there's a lot of dynamism to it. It's a, like I said, I've seen a lot of people stick a little cowboy hat on him, so he just looks even more the part.
Yeah, he's he's basically a cowboy with 3 Magnum guns, the like
Yeah.
6-shooter looking things, six like pistols, and he's got 3 arms.
Yeah, oh shit, I just put it in the wrong Discord again. We can't talk about Warhammer 40k lore because nobody will want to listen to that. But like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's there. You go.
Yeah.
There's a cowboy hat one.
Oh, cool. That's fun.
Yeehaw! You've yeed your last haw. It's been a while since I've played 40k, but my brother plays, and I know like this guy's whole thing is he's like a character assassin. He's supposed to pop up out of like a sewer or something, kill the enemy leader, and then die in a glorious hail of gunfire, and have everyone get inspired by his heroic death.
I see.
Yeah,
That figures. I
yeah.
don't know. Do you have a favorite Magic card, John?
Do I have a favorite Magic card?
Yeah.
Well, the boring answer is going to be just, and this tells you how old I am, is just like the millstone, because I used to love milling people.
Oh, the Millstone.
Yeah.
I've seen
They
that
must have
one.
reprinted it more recently, right? Or is that now like way under creep?
Maybe. Millstone, MTG. I think so. Is it the
But
one
that's
where
just
it's like
that's like the mill card, or it was for years.
right. It's the one where it's like a person's head and a millstone on top of it, right?
In my day, it was literally just a millstone rolling down a hill.
I see.
But it was just the two colorless, tap 2 colorless, and tap this artifact. You know, you mill the top 2 of your opponent's stack, and it was like, it's not good. I don't think it's ever been competitive, but mill is my favorite archetype. I love the specters, which I know discard is different from mill, but I love the grind of slowly making opponent lose stuff, or like
Yeah.
the feeling of discarding an important. When you see the light leave your opponent's card because they just drew their combo or they're out and they have to discard it or throw it in the top of their discard pile. And they're like, and then when they do finally get something out, because you're usually playing blue black or blue black white, you kill it or counter it. Is like, I like control, and I know that makes me a bad person, but you're also a blue player, so you can't judge me.
I guess I can't, but I feel like milling's such a lame way to win.
I also really like poison when the
before.
Phyrexia set was big. Like, I love alternate win conditions, you know?
I guess yeah. Winning
Like,
by
they sold out in a week, but like, I really wanted to play the captain. It was the Mind Flayer Horror Pirate discard EDH deck, I think it was. The Captain Nagathrod or something like that, who was like let me just Google him.
I like the counter spells mostly, honestly.
Yeah, okay, so you are a bad person.
I guess so, yeah.
I know you don't play Marvel Crisis Protocol, but you're enough. You used to be enough of a comic reader that you should get this. That
yeah,
Spider-Man is essentially like a blue-white character in Marvel Crisis Protocol, and so his like all the characters, all the Web Warriors, all the Spider-Verse characters have spider sense, so they're hard to kill. And the way you win is you just run in there, you grab all the flags, and then you run away, and you rely on being faster than everybody else and being hard to kill to fuck with people. And then they also all have impact webbing, so you can push people off of points, like off of the King of the Hill zones from range. So they are extremely, and you have web lines and web whips, so you can gank people off of points. You can they're extremely frustrating to play against, and unfortunately Amy plays them and not me, but they're so they're notorious for being unfun. Yes, okay, I've completed my Google. This is Captain Nagothrod, who is all horrors you control have menace. Whenever a horror you control deals combat damage to a player, that player mills that many cards. And then at the beginning of your end step, choose target artifact or creature card in an opponent's graveyard. It was put into there from their library this turn. Put it onto the battlefield under your control. So I get to revive your dead shit as my shit too.
That's cool.
And like throw like a hunt. I'm sure there's newer cards, but like Hunted Horror is the 7/7 trample horror for 2 black.
Mm-hmm.
That your opponent also gets 2 3/3s. But like, swinging for 7 on turn 3 and then your opponent mills 7 cards is I don't know. Again, it makes me a bad person, but yeah. It seems fun. I like mill. I like poison. I like non-standard win conditions. That's me.
I hate poison.
Yeah, okay. Elaborate.
I don't know. It just feels. I wish other things did poison, or I wish there was a way to get rid of poison counters. That's just me, though.
There's gotta be a way, right?
There's no way. I couldn't find one.
There's gotta be like a generic like remove X poison tokens. And
There's not. I couldn't find any anyway. But yeah, I wish there was more cards that at least let you like heal from poison or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Being able to kill people with a 0/1 mosquito is extremely funny. I don't.
Yeah, that's funny.
That's been my MTG experience. I don't know, like there's that play group, including Spencer, that in California, who've been playing more MTG, and now like my friend group up here has been playing more MTG, and like I don't want to go down this road again. I know how the MTG ramp works, where you all buy starter decks, and then one person's like, well, for $4, I can really improve my deck, so I'll put in $4, and then it ends with somebody investing $700 in their deck, and everyone getting burnt out. I've been down that road many times before, but like...
That's why I like Arena, I guess. Arena feels like fair.
Yeah, well... I don't know, it's good. Like, also, if you ever go to cons, having an MTG deck or an EDH deck in your back pocket to play between rounds or to play over breakfast, like, that's just sort of normal social stuff at these big, like, tournaments for bigger word games that I like. So, like, I feel like I have to invest. I'm waiting for something to come around that I really like. What's coming? Do you know what's coming out? Like another Final Fantasy? I'm not too invested in like the Worlds Beyond stuff.
Yeah, me neither.
You know what I mean? Like I don't want to sound like a curmudgeon or a neckbeard or a Grognard, but
hey, someone just joined us.
If they did, we'll see.
Hello.
Hey Ryan. Welcome
hey everybody.
We were just talking MTG. We were just talking Magic.
Yeah.
Oh no, I figured. I was just trying to find a place to kind of jump in on MTG.
Yourself.
Because you
more like just kind of just interject into the conversation and just kind of
to take a step back.
Yeah.
Look
see
at
what
the
happens.
price tag on that horror deck. This is my fucking problem.
Whoa, $616.
Yeah, to make this EDH. Started as like a box set EDH, but that's the magic. That is the magic loop.
That's crazy. That's why I prefer Arena. I don't know.
Whoa.
I like
card acquisition's too hard in Arena.
It really isn't.
That's a big number just for a deck. Then again, it's MTG. So
you buy the cards with the fake money in the game.
But you have to grind to get the fake money.
It's not that hard to grind.
I think it is hard to grind because unlike Legends of Runeterra or like Pokemon Pocket that I'm playing, like matches take a long time in MTG.
Not from my experience.
Okay.
At least with Arena, and the game's kind of like some people are quick to quit, or like you'll even get points for losing sometimes.
Yeah.
Which is nice. Yeah, I remember one time I was going on a game that lasted like 20 minutes or something, and I lost it. I lost the game, but I won like 1,000 coins or whatever.
Well, that's good. But like, I don't know, like,
yeah.
To each their own. Let a million flowers bloom, but like, it's sort of like my problem with League of Legends in that case, where it's like, Runeterra, Riot killed it, goofed it up, and then it wasn't making money anymore, so they killed it. And Pocket is obviously just like the regular Pokemon game reduced so it's fast on phone. But like those games are like, you can finish a round in like 3 to 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like they play pretty fast. They get me that dopamine hit. If I blank out or I box out or you can't get mana screwed in those games. Even the Hearthstone takes forever. And card acquisition is also really hard in Hearthstone. Like, you can go next pretty fast if it's bad. And similarly, I'm gonna go I'm getting on my League of Legends rant. I treat League of Legends like an X. League of Legends is like, to be locked into a match for 45 minutes that you are not having fun in is agony.
It is.
It's misery.
Yeah.
And like you look at these like newer games where you can like finish around again, like I'm off of MOBAs because they're bad for me, but like the last one I played a lot and got to like top rank in was like the Pokemon one, which like also got power creepy. Don't get me wrong. It was like they were specifically like, hey man, max game times 10 minutes. That's max. We're gonna call it at 10 minutes no matter what.
Okay, so
like
there's
that was sort of nice to
limit.
Stop. People like to play games, so the more time I can spend playing game, better.
Yeah. I get it.
Of course.
Did you guys ever? I know Julio played a little League. Did you ever play League, Ryan?
Yeah, I played through season 2 and 3.
Oh wow, really early stuff.
Yeah, really early stuff. I think also a bit of 4. I think it's around 4 or 5 that I started dropping off pretty hard.
I'd have to log back in
mostly due to like the major changes.
Would you play it again? Would you pick it up again, you think?
Oh no, not at all.
No.
Not at all. No.
I don't want to get doxxed.
I tried so hard to like League.
You don't have to like League. That's the great part.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah,
that's the best part about it.
I gave it like 4 chances.
You gave it the Harvard try.
Yeah.
Not to be like a big bummer, but like I literally I played League for a long time and I was never a good player, but I got Diamond like 3 or 4, and then like the next day my mom, she's good, everybody, it's fine, but my mom was like, hey, I got stage 4 cancer, and I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? That was short.
The big, just like, oh, hold on.
Not only did I hit my goal,
spend more time with my mom.
Yeah, well, I could do that because it's another state, but it's like I should not spend as much time on a game that like. I'll be generous and be like, at least 2/3 of the time degenerates into like. And I was a jungler too, which is the sort of the shortstop role if you're unfamiliar with MOBAs.
Yeah,
where you're expected to come help out everybody else in their matches. But that means that like you by definition can't be everywhere at once. You have to do your own stuff while helping other people.
Right.
And people didn't understand that. So like almost every game somebody was yelling at you because you didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember. Everyone's like, "Oh, he's not flanking for me. He's not ganking for me."
I'm like, well, bud, I'm not ganking
not doing
for
your
you
job.
you're playing a character that doesn't scale well into the end game, and you already died 3 times in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
there's
nothing I can do. You just have
I'm just gonna die.
You just gotta hold on by your toenails and try to help the other lanes carry you. Okay.
There's a lot of things that happened in League that like slowly transformed it into the most unenjoyable thing in the world.
Yeah, can you elaborate on that? Because I'm interested to hear what your thoughts are.
Well, like I got introduced into League by my friend Other John, who introduced me to a YouTuber who was doing just goofy gameplay stuff on League. You might remember their channel. Their YouTube channel was Cholera Ninja.
Cholera Ninja.
Yeah.
That rings a very big bell, but
the thing is that like a lot, like he took down a lot of his League content. Not because any of it was like bad or damning or anything like that, but like it was just
gamer moments.
No heated gamer moments. It was just mostly because I think he just didn't want to be like recognized as the League guy. But like he did a couple of really like funny videos that I really enjoyed, like playing as Pantheon and just doing his doing his global charge, like the
Yeah, Pantheon
I
was
can drop anywhere from the map.
the Spartan hoplite themed character. And their
Oh
ultimate
yeah,
was
let
that
me explain.
they
So
would
Pantheon,
teleport.
yeah,
Their ultimate ability was that they would teleport
he would
to
jump into the
anywhere on the
sky.
map, and you'd
Yeah,
land like a
it was a
comet on people.
global alt before they changed it, before they did his rework.
Yeah,
But he would jump into the air and then he would strike the ground around him, right? So the center would, of course, do the most damage where his body would land. And then he would do a significant fall off damage in a large area.
I have a really
But
vague memory of that video. If I didn't see it, I'm sure somebody copied it and I saw it.
yeah, but the funny thing about that alt is that while all of his other skills would scale off physical damage, that alt only scaled off of ability power. So you can get things like a Rabadon's Death Cap. You can get like
Ability power, by the way, makes your abilities, such as the Sky Drop, stronger
yeah,
before they change the scaling on stuff to sometimes scale
yeah.
off
So
attack damage.
yeah, like it was mostly just like visually, does it make sense that ability power, which is attached to magic, would increase the power, or does punching someone in the face really hard uh, associate with attack damage? But this was weird because you were a guy dropping like 1,000 miles per hour from the sky, so you figured that's physical damage. But no, they associated it with magic, so whatever.
Yeah, this
Anyway, so the whole
Spartan man
video,
landing on somebody does the same kind of
yeah,
damage as a
using
fireball.
all his physical strength to jump into the air and then crush someone, that wasn't physical at all. But so yeah, they found out that, well, it's written there that it scales off of AP, and it gets pretty high because I think the AP is like a 0.9 scaling. So he spends the whole game running around and then waiting until his ult comes up and then just dropping on people and then killing them. And it was very funny. But yeah, anyway, so I got into it then. And season 2 and 3 were a lot of fun, mostly because Riot was still kind of like learning how to do things, so they allowed more fun to occur.
More
Like for
weird builds. They were
example,
trying to be
yeah,
they were used to the Dota.
yeah. So
Dota started as
everyone,
a Warcraft 3 mods. They were used to the weirder stuff, and they were less of a like they're the big dog in esports. I don't know if they still
yeah,
are, but they
they
were for a
kind of
long
are,
time.
but I think they've taken a few drops in position. But, yeah, League took a lot of inspiration, obviously, from Dota because that was the progenitor, right? I don't know if
Mhm.
Heroes of the Storm was was similar in a way. I don't know if they, came off of Dota as well, but uh, a lot of their gameplay and structure was based off of Dota, but a little bit
Mhm.
more simplified. Um, but again, they allowed for more goofier builds. They didn't have like the unique tag previously. So you couldn't have you could have duplicates of like some of the most weirdest items or like some of the most broken items. Um like for example, like 6 Sunfire Cape Garen.
Yeah, I
If you
remember.
remember that.
So my memory,
Yeah.
Sunfire Cape was a cape that gave you health and armor, which reduces physical damage, and also it had a small damaging aura. And so
Yeah.
back in the day, I remember people stacking 6 of them on stealth characters and just walking around people until they died.
And they do like yeah, since it did something like 45 to 90 damage or
Yeah,
something,
something like that.
it would go crazy with 6 of them. So you're
Yeah,
doing like chunks of health just by walking near a guy.
360-ish damage or something like
Or
that
if you're playing
a
as
second.
Garen, a monolith character who
Who
heals by
has an
sitting in
AoE
bushes,
spinning attack.
yeah, you spin into people and that does more damage and you melt people literally
Yeah.
from the flames and from putting them in the meat grinder. Um but yeah, like so there was a lot of that, and then season 3 came by and that's when they started introducing the unique tag into items. So like things would be that were labeled like unique passive couldn't stack with each other anymore, so you only had to take one item of that kind. um they started taking away like game types that were legitimately fun. So
I
they took away
do have to
Dominion.
give them begrudging credit for like officializing all random, all mid.
Yeah. All random,
yes.
all mid, if no one knew, was a game mode that people did where they would just take mid lane. It was a
ARAM, right?
ARAM. It was a it was an agreement with all players in the game that everybody will just randomly choose a champ, and then all go down mid lane. There were rules set. It was a custom game mode that everybody played with each other. It's that you couldn't buy items until you died. So you have to die in the lane to go back and get
Which
items again.
introduces like a rubber banding mechanic that the proper League of Legends does not have, where like the longer your kill streak is,
the more money you get.
The more money you get for dying. Well, okay, two things. The longer your kill streak is, that means the more you have to be out in the field with worse items. And the longer your kill streak is, the more money your opponents get for finally bringing you down. So it had a rubber banding mechanic. I thought it like towards the tail end of my League career, like the last year of it, all I would play was ARAM because speaking of earlier, Ryan, we were talking about game time stuff. So like, you could finish an ARAM in 20 minutes, as opposed to 45 minutes a League.
It's a good bit of League that you can condense into half the time.
It's like the same amount of team fights, which are the fun parts, let's be real, in half the time.
Yeah.
And you don't have to surrender. You can surrender if you want to, but
Yeah.
Also, it doesn't require the same level of coordination. So there's like less, there's also because everyone was forced to play random characters, there was a lot less like, bro, what the fuck are you doing? And you're like, I've literally never
why are you not
this character in my
synergizing
life
with
before.
me or anything? And a lot of their monetary models back then weren't egregious.
Yeah.
We didn't have the whole $500 skin debacle going on.
I don't want to just like make this a hate screed, but how do we talk about this without talking about the weird parasocial character they made, the K-pop character who they
not
role-played
K-pop,
as?
but she's like just an idol, but she's based on so it's getting weird. But let's throw this out there just because we need to get this out there. So there was a moment in time where they released a character by the name of Seraphina.
Seraphina, that's it.
Yes. Seraphina was a character that was similar very much to Sona, a character that they released years prior. Now, what's the similarities between them? Well, one, they're both musically themed.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not that
they were
too much.
musical themed supports.
Two,
support
they're
mages
supports.
with magical
Three,
auras based off their music, a la Lucio.
Mm-hmm. And then 4, their ultimates is that they send us a wave out, which does damage and stuns. So no, they're not really that similar. No, they're super similar. But the weirdest thing about Seraphina is that she's as exposed by the person that it was referenced off of.
Yes.
She's based on an actual person. She's based on an actual person that visited Riot Game Studios due to her connections with one of the developers. I think it was
a Riot
art
employee.
director.
I believe she dated for a few months.
Yeah, so she was in a relationship with them, and suddenly there's this character that shows up that looks awfully kind of similar to her and has awfully kind of similar hobbies and pets that are similar. It's very strange that someone had managed to create a character that is just completely lifted from a real life person.
Just a self-insert kind of situation.
Well, so no, it's creepy because
she didn't
it's not
even
a self-insert. It's a dude she dated for 3 months.
Oh.
She was unaware.
Yeah.
That they did this.
I don't like that.
That this guy was just major spook mode on her.
There's also this whole thing of like people didn't know she was a League of Legends character at first, so she was just somebody who kept being like on Twitter, who kept being like, sometimes I get sad, like posting those like relationship, I call them like baked posts, where like, I know you're just doing this for interaction. She's like, does anybody else ever get sad and not believe in their dreams like me? and would be a picture of a girl who had theoretically been rotoscoped out to an anime girl.
Yeah, that's right.
And it wasn't
Oh,
clear
that's
until
right.
this character released that it was somebody was sock puppeting this account. It was very strange.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They created a whole account where someone was being a woe is me type person.
Yeah.
Weird.
So it
It's
created
very
like this
spooky.
whole, as people often get, you know, like this whole parasocial thing where people are like, I believe in you. And this poor
Yeah.
woman is like watching this all unfold. They're like, this looks a lot like my pictures.
Yeah, this
To be
looks
clear, they
a
weren't
lot
rotoscoped
like
off her pictures, but they were
yeah.
similar enough that people were concerned.
These look a lot like stuff that I posted kind of previously. Not with the woe is me stuff, but just images. Yeah, so there's also that, but that came later down the line, along with the monetization situation. But like the
Yeah.
other things that really kind of bugged me with League was like their sudden like shift from certain metas that were just like kind of severe. The introductions of like new lore, which kind of didn't make sense. Like
I have to
they,
waive lore stuff because like League of Legends literally killed the entire reason the game is called League of Legends and still calls
yeah,
themselves League of Legends. So I'm like,
yeah, League
okay,
of
we don't
Legends
care about
killed its
lore.
own reasons. Yeah,
But
like it killed its own theming. Like for what reason? Probably just to move away from it so that they can monetize like more
I
skins
do
that
like
didn't match with the
the
with the
original
overall
lore
theme.
was that League of Legends was a court case and that you would hire mages who would summon champions to fight petty
Yeah,
squabbles on your behalf.
it's
So I love the
it's
idea of a
action
fishmonger
legal.
being like, let me summon 5 wizards who will in turn summon 3 demons from the abyss, a mass murderer, and a K-pop star to make sure that
Mhm.
I get the best stall at the farmer's market.
Just to be sure that I'm the one.
Legally, this is my farmer's
It was
market
called the
stall.
Tribunal.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole
That's why they
lore
were called
behind it.
summoners, because anyway.
Yeah, and I don't know if they've done it yet, but I know that Sona still has a lot of voice lines that refer to the summoner because
Yeah, because they just
she's
forgot Sona in a box.
yeah, like so Sona's character is that she's a mute who is very good with music, and she's able to telepathically speak to her summoner with magic. So you'll hear her voice, but she'll never speak in game. So it has like that echoey reverb kind of thing. But
Yeah,
yeah,
only you,
like
the
a lot.
character playing her, can hear her talk, because it's supposed to be a connection between you, the summoner, and her. The other characters only hear her music.
Again, I just thought the game was very fun when it had a lot of these like just really did the whole fantasy, like high fantasy thing just unabashedly. Like, you know, it really just kind of leaned into the cool stuff of being part of a fantasy world.
Yeah.
So like, you know, and like what's also nice was that a lot of the champions also had lore that was like, oh, hey, how they got into League, how they got captured, how they got pulled in by summoners who would then use them in these tribunals. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'm
I
mostly
also
just
have to
very
point
upset.
out, because of my Middle East degree, the same week that like Seraphine was revealed or something, League of Legends said that they were partnering with Neom, which is the weird Saudi project where they're building a city that is a mile wide and like 12 miles long. It's bulldozing a bunch of like farmland and native stuff, and it's just like literally the week after this happened, Riot Games was like, okay, we now have an ethics person on staff. Because pretending to be a girl with mental health issues to promote a new character's release and signing with like one of the goofiest Gulf vanity projects, like people were not happy.
Gosh,
Yeah, it was just a lot of it's a lot of weird stuff. They just got into some weird things, and it's like you can't. I don't know. There was always like a thing with me. It was like separating the art from the artist. But at this point, when you keep doing shit like this, it's kind of hard to do that.
Yeah, for real.
Well, we don't need to talk about the allegations that came out at the same time that Blizzard's did.
Yeah,
but also,
no, they suffered a ton of legal issues.
Oh man.
Not
I
that we
guess-
want. I don't want us to be a drama channel, so maybe we should end with our favorite lead
It's not.
character.
Mine will always be old Victor.
Mm.
I like
Yeah,
Yasuo, I
not
guess.
who?
Yasuo.
Oh yeah, Yasuo is very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I like the. So we have the robot wizard, the wandering wind samurai. I really like Rek'Sai, who is the alien land shark.
Yeah. The one who can burrow and tunnel.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think
I just want to
we're-
specify old Victor. I mean, like
Yes.
Doctor Doom Victor.
Yes. Yes. When you
Not weird. Like let's ascend into
arcane lore update.
Yeah, not arcane cartoon Victor.
Yeah.
Which it's like.
I thought
Look,
it was
you
kinda
can.
cool.
Yeah, I mean, look, everyone can like that show.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. They put in a lot of work that
Like
was
what you like.
unrecognized.
The art is beautiful. It's not for
Yeah.
me, but
Yeah.
there's so
again-
few things to enjoy right now, man. Do whatever makes you happy.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm not trying to yuck anyone's yum. It's just that this yucks my yum with
I see,
Victor. Because it's like Victor goes from like that fun supervillain that's all like I just want to make things machines because they're so fucking cool to like I'm kind of a weird cult god.
Yeah.
It's the thing too, where they like it's that serial killer, that Marvelification thing, where like every supervillain has to have a sad backstory now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
And
can't
it's
just
just
have
like they don't
somebody who's
really
like, he just
they
fucking
don't
sucks,
really.
dude.
Yeah.
Also, he look again. This is the whole thing with the lore thing when they were just changing people's lore like left and right. They did it to my boy Nasus and Renekton.
I also
And
love that, but I like the desert stuff because I'm a Egyptophile. Like,
I mean, like it was perfect back then. Nasus and Renekton were the protectors of the library. Nasus would teach, Renekton would refuse the bad doers. And then one day, Nasus was all like, "Hey, Renekton, you've been killing too many people, and that's not good. So we're gonna have to like stop you from being all bloodthirsty." And he's like, "No, no one's worthy of my brother's knowledge." And then Nasus struck him down, and before he could kill him, he got pulled away by the summoners and was like, "Hey, yo, big dog, literal big dog, you're gonna have to deal with this guy's court hearing about $25 and like gum stuck under a seat." And he's like, "What?"
anyway, I have no idea how to end this.
Yeah, me neither. Oh man. But
Play
It's fun.
stuff you like.
Yeah.
Enjoy video games.
Enjoy a video.
Or
Don't
enjoy
listen.
card games.
Watch out for Ultra-Terrestrials. Episode 100 is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coming out. Oh,
Who
man.
knows? You might see a certain guy.
With a beautifully sculpted butt and 2 flaming red eyes.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Mostly focus on the butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, thank you for listening, listener. Thank you, Jesse Sanders, for making the music. Check out our Linktree. Check out our Redbubble. We'd appreciate it. Write a review if you can, if you want. We'd really like it. Yeah, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye bye.